Hi, this is Jay Adams, aka the Spirit of Truth. Um, I'm making this video in order to issue a warning um, based upon the indicators that I look at and the current flow of international events. I believe that World War III may be imminent. Specifically, there's reason to suspect that Israel is about to strike Iran, possibly on Yom Kippur, which is Monday, and that this in turn will result in a regional conflict in the Middle East as Iran retaliates and Hezbollah and Syria and Hamas get pulled into the fray. And I'm not sure how the other Arab powers will react, but the conflict between Israel and Iran could in turn draw in Russian backing of Iran and or Syria and U.S. backing of potentially Israel, leading to a superpower confrontation and, as I've foreseen, a global nuclear war. I plan on posting an extended video regarding all the details behind why I suspect and expect this. But in the meantime, I suggest that people go to my website, which is spiritoftruth.org, spiritoftruth.org, where they can get more information on specifically why I believe what I believe. In particular, people need to go to my blog, which you can link to through my website, and my blog is at spiritoftruth.me, that's .me, and at Spirit of Truth Me you will see my two most recent posts. One is an urgent war alert, the other is about Russia's doomsday device. And between those two ingredients, one can understand why I am looking not just for war to erupt in the Middle East, but I'm looking for global nuclear war. Obviously, if this is the case, then people need to start preparing, if they haven't already, which of course most people haven't. But everybody needs to learn the intricacies and effects of nuclear war on American society and determine how they're going to respond, whether it be strategically evacuating themselves and their loved ones, or trying to shelter in place if you're far enough away from major targets. As you'll see, it isn't simply just a reading of international events that's involved here. I use a form of wave analysis of markets and history, and specifically what's occurred this week is we went up and retested the psychologically important 10,000 mark in reversed course. Along with this, we have certain parallels with regard to 1973 before the Yom Kippur War, and then there's a contact I have in Israel who is a rabbi, and he indicated that the rumor there is a attack may be planned for Yom Kippur. It's an unsubstantiated rumor. This rabbi puts the odds at 10% of it having any veracity, but it's out there, and there's some reasons that makes sense. And then there's a vision I had in connection with biblical prophecy, specifically what I saw occurred during the Gulf War in 1991, February 1991. I saw a special report of a chemical scud attack on Israel. It was a regular special report, and the city being struck at the time was Haifa, and chemical weapons were definitely involved. This special report was seen on February 6th of 1991 when there was no Scud missile attacks. In fact, Israel went off alert on that day because there had not been a Scud missile attack from Saddam Hussein for a couple weeks up to that point. And a week after that, as I was in discussions with Robert Prechter, the Elliott wave theorist, about what might cause the grand supercycle collapse that we were anticipating at the time, I had a friend who was interested in Bible prophecy and Nostradamus prophecies that might be connected to the Gulf War underway at that time. So I took him back to my dorm to read him, to show him some books I had on Nostradamus, and then I started to read him the 8th chapter from the book of Revelation. I believe this prophecy depicts a future nuclear war, and just as I started reading it, both he and I heard an air raid siren followed by the percussion of a nuclear explosion. The authenticity of the experience led us to rush to the local library, where we got down to the sub-basement, where I'd already determined was a secure place to go in the event of nuclear war. And from there we contacted the fire department and asked if any sirens had sounded or if there had been any sort of explosions. Guy didn't know what I was talking about. So at that time there was no global nuclear war, fortunately, and that was some 18 years ago. But ever since those experiences, I began to examine world history, and I realized that Russia was engaging in systematic strategic deception of the West for the purpose of a surprise Third World War, through which the Kremlin in Moscow hopes to dominate the world. What's more, in the context of Bible prophecy, I've discovered that, in fact, the forces at work in Moscow at this time are effectively satanic, that this is the rise of the Antichrist that's underway, and literally we've had the largest lie ever told in human history, and this will be followed up by the largest premeditated act of mass murder in human history. And as Jesus said 2,000 years ago, the devil is a liar and a murderer from the beginning. So these are the forces at work in world history. My concern is that they're about to make their move, and I am issuing an urgent warning to the world at this time, because my sense is war, i.e. the prophetic apocalypse, is now very imminent.